Okay, so true story. It's kind of interesting sometimes how you hear about these things. This drain is draining slowly. My wife had mentioned it to me, but the other interesting thing is my daughter mentioned that she saw some video on the channel, and it was kind of a random comment. I'm like, "Oh, you watch some videos on the channel?" And she goes, "Yeah, I was looking for the video to fix the drain in the bathroom." I was like, "Oh," and at first I was like, "Why were you looking at that?" Because the drain's slow, and kids, don't necessarily want to learn directly from you. I found, but indirectly, especially when they're teenagers, works. Anyway, I went looking on the channel and I realized that I hadn't documented this before. So I'm going to do this because the whole point of doing this is for that very reason where, she's like, "Hey, drain slow, Dad might have done a video," or, whatever. And I fully believe that had I done a video, I would have never known. She would have gone and done this herself and, try to fix it. And 99% sure she would have been able to do all that with no problem. So, putting this together because my daughter was looking for a video to do this very thing, and I realized, wow, that's exactly why I do these things. So, anyway, this is draining slowly. I'm going to go ahead and verify the issue. So this is a tub shower combo, which means that there has to be a stopper. Like if you want to run a bath, you put the stopper down, fill up the bathtub, but it also has to be able to open up and allow the water to drain if you're doing a shower. And that's definitely slow. The water's still here. It's probably hard to see that on camera, but it's taken a while. So what's happening is when they're taking a shower, the water's filling up, past like to their ankles, I guess, and just not draining. Is it a huge deal like right away? No, but we're going to get into it now because it could become one. All right, so these are interesting when you first look at them. There's no like nut or bolt or anything on them. It's like, well, how does this magic work? How does this, how do I fix it? Because there's no really easily seen way to take it apart. So, what we want to do, and this is pretty common, you definitely don't want like a nut or bolt on here because it's in the shower, so everything's round. But what you can do is you pull this up, and underneath, you can just feel around, and there's, and I'll show you once I take it apart, but there are flats on both sides of this. So that tells me, okay, that's how we can hold this, because otherwise, it's round and there's just no way to hold this thing. So those flats tell me that I can put a tool in there, which, let me grab one of those, and I can rest it on those flats and I can just hold it. That's going to hold this mechanism, this the part that goes up and down here, from turning. And then I can turn the top. This is actually, because I've done this before, this is hand tight right now, but that's not reality if you're doing this for the first time or it's been a long time. So what you're normally going to do is you're going to hold this, and then there are striations here, like knurls, which just enough to allow you to grab it. So it's not completely smooth. It seems like it's smooth, but there's just a little bit of an area that you can grab. So you take pliers or whatever you have and you just turn it to loosen it. And then this comes out. You can see it's got just a few threads that screw on. So that's just the cap. And then what I'll do is move you closer here. And I have light in here because the lighting in the bathroom is horrible. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what's going on. So now we have the cap off, right? But it still doesn't come off. Well, what's that about? This just spins. Well, again, if you look a little bit more carefully, there's a little slot in here. And what that's for is a screwdriver. I don't know if this is the big enough one to do it. Yep. So that fits in, the screwdriver fits in the slot, and then I turn it to loosen it. And I'm just going to unscrew it. Okay. And that comes off. Threads here, again, not real deep, but there are threads in here. And see if you can give you a better look at what it looks like, maybe. So you can see that little slot. So what you're doing is, if you haven't seen something like this before, you're just looking for indicators of how you can take it apart. And on the bottom here, you can see how there's flats. That's a flat side. So now I could get a tool on there. If it was completely round, that would be a different scenario. But usually something like this is there. It could be round as well, where you just use a tool and you can grab it with the teeth of the tool. But I'm going to say most of the time that I've encountered, there's something like that you can kind of tells you, okay, I can hold it by that. And then with this, if something's completely round, there's some provision made to allow you to grab that and turn it. So just look at that, take your time, don't just force it, don't just throw a tool on it and like crank on it. Just kind of do a little bit of investigation and you'll be able to figure it out usually. Okay, so that's off, and this just goes up and down in there. See, pushes, right? That's it. So this circular part, that's why it just turns on there. Okay, and this little snap ring just kind of holds some pressure on it to keep it like that. Okay, so that's how that works. After you take a shower showers for a while, there's hair. And 99.7% of the time, the hair buildup is why these don't drain. Hair will actually grab onto different things as well. So hair gets in there, and hair's very tough. If it gets caught, it's going to stay there, even if it's dead, which hair's dead anyway. But it's going to stay there. And it's just a pain in the butt, honestly. But just part of the deal. And longer hair, I'm just going to stick my hand in here. This actually doesn't look too bad. So, sorry, this is real life TV here, so you're gonna see, who knows what you're gonna find in here. Shouldn't be too bad, it's just hair. But hair will also kind of become black sludge sometimes. Usually that's like shorter hairs and stuff like that. But I'm looking in here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Okay, I am doing my best to get you some light. Let's see what we got here. Hold on, let me reposition some stuff. But there's not a whole lot. Usually, like right here, see there's a brace. Here, there's always a cross brace. And that's always going to catch something. I shouldn't say always, but most of the time, there's some bracing in here. And that's what catches everything. Now, as I look in here, right up at the top, I was kind of hoping it'd be nice and easy and there'd just be like a big clump here. And there's not. So, I do see some garbage down there, for sure, but I can't really get down in there. So, up here looks clear, but the rest of it doesn't. So I'm going to show you a trick that you can do, and we'll see if it works. We're going to use some baking soda, and we're just going to dump it in there. Okay. Measure it really accurately, okay? Just like baking. Actually, baking, you do have to. And then I have some white vinegar. So part of the reason I do this is because it's fun. And it's a science project. The other part of it is, really the real reason, is when you put baking soda and vinegar, if you've ever made those volcanoes when you're younger, it fizzes and bubbles and all that stuff. So because I can't really get down in there, I'm going to pour some of this vinegar on that baking soda and it's going to fizz. And the theory is that when it bubbles up and does all that, it'll dislodge the hair and different things in there. Doesn't always work 100%, but it definitely will help move some stuff around. So I'm just going to pour. Kind of let that do its thing a little bit. And then the next thing I'm going to do, which will be off camera, I'm going to go down and boil some water. I'm going to pour some really hot water down here. And really hot water will also help dislodge and flush things out. So I'm going to boil some water, come up here. It won't be boiling when I get back up here, but it'll be hot. Dump that down, a bunch of that down, see what that does. And then if we have to go further, we go further and figure out what's going on. But definitely see some stuff there that is clogged. The other thing is, as this drains, there's only a little bit of water going down at a time. So we also want to kind of shock it, put a bunch in at one time and kind of force it to push things through. So I'm going to go heat up some water and then I'll be back. Okay. Microwave safe Pyrex. It's 186 right now. It was 210 upstairs or downstairs. So it cooled off that much. Still 173, but definitely still slow. Okay. Okay, so that's still slow. That trick didn't work. So what that tells me is the issue is further back. Okay, fun. All right, so on to the next thing. This right here is a clean out vent, actually. Both, maybe. There has to be a vent above where the drain is to allow the water to gravity drain. I'm doing this carefully so I don't drop it in that open hole. Okay. So the point of removing this is because I can grab a snake and run it down there to see if there's something else getting stuck further on. So this goes down and over, connects into here, and this goes straight down into the drain that drains down. That's how it works. It's kind of one assembly. So there's this can be taken out. I don't really want to get into that at this point. So what I'll do is I'm going to go get a snake. I was hoping it'd be that easy. You can try that, and it might work. I've had it work before where I just clean it up. But my problem is the hair wasn't stuck at this top. That means there's something further back there that's really kind of causing the issue. And the last time I cleaned this out, it didn't last as long as in the past. So that tells me something's getting backed up in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and go grab that snake, and I guess you get to see what that looks like. I was hoping you wouldn't, but you know, we'll do that and I'll be back. All right, actually before I grab that snake, I'm gonna try this way. So all we're really trying to do is dislodge what's in there and get it to drain. There's probably something stopped up in there. I'm going to, because you're not going to have a snake, most likely, plumbing snake at least. What I'm going to do is use my plunger and just see if I can't try to dislodge whatever's in there. Now, as I'm pushing this down, I'm actually feeling the air come out here. And I'm smelling a little bit of it, which, you know, just be glad that you can't smell on video. It's not horrible, but it's not the most pleasant smell. I'm going to put some more water in there. That might have actually done the trick. Seems we have corrected the issue. I do not see the stuff that I saw down there before. And I was doing it first, it was just air in there. I needed the water down in there to be able to, so when I plunged, it was actually using the force of the water back and forth to dislodge. I'm going to do a little bit more just to be safe here. But you can see how it's not filling up like it was before. That's a good sign. Yeah, there's no water flowing up there, so that's a good sign. Now, what I'm going to do again is pour a very specific amount of baking soda in there. Oh, almost spilled the vinegar. And the reason I'm doing that is because I might have dislodged some big stuff, but there might still be some small stuff in there. So I just want to put that through again. It's getting to places that I can't get to otherwise, right? It's going to flow down, fizz, hopefully clean up around the pipe, dislodge stuff around the pipe in there, and then is this overkill? Most likely, but it's kind of cool. I like watching it do it, so. And you always want to make sure you flush it out and wait until it stops fizzling. And the other interesting thing is I hear it further back, so that's good. flush that through. Water's draining really well right now, so I'm not going to really worry about that. I think we're good. So what I'm going to do is put this back. Okay, no difference, so that's good. Means this is doing what it's supposed to do. Alright, now we're going to put this back together. And this goes down, screws on clockwise, and screwdriver. Tighten. And it should have a bigger screwdriver, but that works. And then we'll pop that up so that these threads are here. Just going to screw that on. I was able to undo it by hand last time because I definitely didn't over tighten it the last time I had it apart. Because this is a general, can't hear me? This is a general maintenance kind of thing. This happens, especially when you're losing your hair, or just in general, it doesn't matter. But hair in the shower is a normal thing in the drain. So I'm not gonna go crazy with this, but I am gonna just turn it a little bit. All right. And we're gonna fill it to the point that it gets my tripods wet. And then I'm just going to open it up all at once, and this should quickly drain. Alright, that's how I test sinks too. I would fill it up with more, but again, tripods are in the bathtub to give you the best angle I can on this, and I don't want to get those soaking wet. They're already somewhat wet. Anyway, so like with a sink or with a tub, I would fill this up a bit more, open it up, let it drain, and I'll do that, but it's working, seems to be working fine. So then I just want to run it like a normal, like a shower would, and make sure that the water doesn't come back further than, like, I don't know, here. So the water's staying, it's about right here is the line, and it's draining at the same rate that it's flowing, exactly what we want. So, done. It has been cleaned out. I did a couple different times with three different times with the baking soda and vinegar just to kind of help it while I was doing it. And it seems to be good. I would expect when you first open one of these up, you probably will have hair caught on the top, and you'll pull that out. Usually I use the tool to do that. And you just throw those clumps away. Hair clogs, toilets, sinks, showers. Don't put them in the toilet. That's not I had to snake out a toilet here once. It was pretty disgusting, very much disgusting. But what came out was hair. So hair is really the culprit for all this, getting stuff caught. It's not a big deal when you have smaller particles go down there, but hair kind of creates a spider web at times and catches all that stuff. So don't flush the hair back down the drain. Don't pull it out and like flush it down. Just throw it in the garbage can. And that goes for anything, you know, sinks or any other thing that has hair in it. Just throw the hair away. And tell the women in your life, not that it's all their fault, but they have long hair, to do their best to throw their hair away and not put it in a sink or in the shower or a toilet or any of that stuff. That's just one of those things. You know, and same thing with men, obviously. Just do your best to not have a bunch of hair go down the drain, or you'll be doing this a lot. All right, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something.